Okay, afternoon everyone, it's 6 o'clock, so let's get the Cabinet meeting started. Apologies for absence. I've had apologies from Councillor Mason, who's unwell today, and apologies from Councillor Driscoll, who's online, but also a bit unwell as well, but thank you for joining us online. And we also have Councillors Malcolm and Councillor Gallant online, joining us online too. So any urgent matters? I don't think I've had any. No? Okay. Matters to be considered in private? I don't think we've had any either. So any declarations of interest? Take the silence as none. And are we okay to agree the minutes from the last council meeting, which was the 20th of November? Sorry, Cabinet meeting. Agreed. Thank you. Appointments to subcommittees. Have we had any? No, they aren't any. Okay, thank you. Okay, the first item is 0 to 19 Healthy Child Programme Service commissioning arrangements. Councillor Black.
Thank you. It's a direct order of a contract for the 0 to 19 service, which covers health visiting, family nurse partnership, school nursing service, and child weight management service for a period of 6 years to the existing provider, with an option to extend for a further 2 if we need to at the end of the contract.
Thank you, Councillor Backer. Are we? And I think we've been, there's been an indication for a question from Councillor Malcolm.
I indicated previously I did have a question, but it's been answered by officers early this morning, so I don't need to ask that question, so thank you.
Yeah, he will. Councillor Malcolm, you were on mute. We couldn't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Still can't.
I can hear you, Gary. If that's any help, I can hear you.
You can come
Yeah,
back.
I can hear you. That's a bit strange. Paul, you could pass on that me and you can hear each other, and I don't need to speak in this question because I've already got the answer from the officers, if that's helpful.
Apologies.
Right. Will do.
So it's of some contracts for the capital approvals, £11 million for high priority conditioned capital works, including works at John Chilton phase 4, which I think we've discussed previously at Cabinet meeting.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Malcolm, I'm not sure your sound issues have resolved. So it might be best if you put your questions in writing maybe, and we can come back to them. Don't know if you can hear me. We agreed with this approach? Agreed.
Can we agree the previous one as well then?
I know, I've written need to agree this.
Excellent.
Can we also agree the previous item? Thank you. Sorry. I think the tech issues. Next item on the list, we've got Good Freeling sponsorship policy. Councillor Manro.
Thank you, Chair. This just puts a policy forward for our governance in terms of how we accept sponsorship from our partners. The Good Freeling investment brand seeks to bring high quality investment into our 7 towns, but there is a process in place now where we set out how and when we will accept sponsorship from our partners to work with us to make sure that we get high quality investment into the borough. The paper's self-explanatory. You can see all the issues there, but it's a very clear, transparent, open paper which shows how we will accept sponsorship from our partners and on what basis.
Thank you, Councillor Manro. Councillor Gallant, I don't know if you've also got tech issues. It seems to be a thing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. I don't. Can you hear me? I'm now speaking.
Yeah, if you can the three councillors that are online, if you could leave the meeting and rejoin, and hopefully that should alleviate
right.
issues.
Can you hear me now, Chair?
Check, can we?
Chair, can you hear me myself?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Okay, brilliant. Okay, so. Sorry, 2 seconds. Okay, so we've already moved on to the previous two items. So it's just if I can call Councillor Malcolm on the Good Freeling sponsorship policy question.
Can you hear me now, please? Because you can.
Yes, we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. It's a shame about the last question. Okay. I got two questions in relation to this. So the first one is, how are the panels created and the members selected? That's my first question on item 9. The second one is, what are the sanctions and the monitoring that will be put in place to make sure that organisations who behave inappropriately after they've got a relationship and that's been established with the council? So it's sort of what happens if there's poor behaviour after the event.
Okay, Councillor Munro.
Okay, so I think you're talking about community review panel and design review panel. Is that? I assume that's what he's talking about in the panels. So we went out, advertised for interested parties to come forward, and there's a process of interviews because we need a balance from the different parts of the borough. So that was done a number of years ago, and we do refresh regularly the membership of that panel. It's usually led by senior officers in the planning department, etc., to actually work through who would fit onto that panel, because the design review panel is specialists. Community review panel are members of the public who have an interest in planning, but we do need a wide spread from throughout the borough. So that's how that's done. As far as the second part, that was, sorry, in terms of sanctions, Councillor Malcolm, this is a policy around how we handle sponsorship, and if there is problems with that, how we would deal with it. The paper outlines that we would then, dissolve that partnership and not then deal with them if they actually did something that was not right. But the whole idea is they are key partners in the borough, and they share our vision for the borough in terms of development and investment in the borough. And therefore, we do actually look at them before we accept money from them to make sure that there isn't these sort of issues. But if they were to arise, then we would cease their sponsorship with us, and that would be the sanction.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Gallant.
Thank you very much, Chair. Could I ask, can you hear me now or not?
Yes, we can.
You can. Thank you very much indeed. It's very good to see that the sponsorship opportunities are being viewed in a London context. Could you please elaborate on how Ealing's efforts to attract inward investment will sit alongside or indeed against the efforts of other London boroughs and the Mayor of London? Also, given everyone will be chasing the same business, will other boroughs play as fair as Ealing intends to? On the question of MEPIM, which is mentioned several times in the report, and I am aware of the background to it, could you just explain why the council will not be attending MEPIM? And are there any other international property events that the council will be attending?
Thank you for your question, Councillor Gallant. Basically, look, we work with Opportunity London, and some of our sites have gone on to that. So Opportunity London is a London-wide organisation which seeks to bring in international investment into London, and they look at different projects in the boroughs. So that's how we work together with the boroughs, and we have specialist areas. The London Growth Plan will help us identify areas where we think we have an advantage because of Heathrow and some of the other areas around West London. There are some companies that would be more interested in coming to West London, and therefore we've got the West Tech Corridor, we've got Imperial, the partnership. So we're looking at sectors that would be interested in coming into Ealing and the West London, and therefore that's how we work with our partners. And yes, other boroughs may, we are in competition in a way, but London is one, and we have to make sure that the West London partnership works, and we work with Opportunity London to make sure investment comes in. In terms of MIPIM, we actually find that it's not as important as it used to be, because we've got UK Reef in Leeds and we have UK Reef London, where we find very high level of international investors and other investors come to that, and we actually attend, and we're prominent in those two events. We take stands with our West London partners at UK Reef in Leeds, and we had a stand for ourselves at UK Reef in London. And that's the kind of places where we think we get people from international organizations coming forward, and we work with them, and we ask them to come in to see us at our offices here. And that's how we actually create that partnership in terms of trying to bring international investment in. MIPIM is no longer seen as the place to go. Leeds is, and that's much nearer and much cheaper to get to.
Thank you, Councillor Munro. So are we agreed for the Good for Ealing sponsorship strategy? Yep. Agreed. Thank you. Next item is regulation of investigatory. I knew I was going to mess this up. Investigatory Powers Act 2000.
Thank you, Chair. I won't have to repeat the full name of the Act now. The REPA 2000. As you know, the Council has powers and duties under this legislation. We're one of a number of types of body which is included, but we have an obligation on an annual basis to review and approve the policy and confirm the appointment of officers to specific roles within the powers and duties of legislation. And also we report that once again, we have not had any cause to use powers for covert surveillance in the 12-month period that is referred to. So I would ask, I think you'll see, there've been no changes to the policy since the last time it was approved in January. So I would ask colleagues if they would approve as per the Cabinet paper.
Thank you, Councillor Donnelly. Are we agreed? Agreed. Thank you. Yeah, we just did. Okay, so that draws the meeting to a close. The date of the next Cabinet meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, the 22nd of January. And wish you all a great Christmas break. Thank you.
Happy Christmas.